Hi everyone, Dan here again, Senior Executive Wildlife Ambassador for Reptile Encounters. Welcome to our afternoon live stream. So good to see you all here again. Make sure you're saying hi so we know who's tuning in. Before we kick off this afternoon's live stream, make sure that you've subscribed to our YouTube channel. Make sure you've got notifications on for our live streams here on Facebook so you don't miss any of the fun. And make sure you check out our website. We've got experiences available. We're doing sponsorships for some of our favourite animals here so you can help get involved and come and meet them once all this current health situation is cleared up a little bit. And you can check out our shows as well. Now, we want to hear from you guys as well. Tell us what you like about the live streams in the comments. Tell us if there's any animals or any topics you'd like us to talk about. I've been enjoying a lot of the live streams when I haven't actually been holding them like today. I love the one that Tia did yesterday on the Art Along, doing the story about Crocstar the rock star, the big famous drummer. I'm not 100% sure where they got the idea for the leopard shoes from, but it was a real strange bolt of inspiration. Now, today we're going to be talking about some cold-blooded freshwater creatures.
Do you want to reintroduce yourself for everybody who's just joined us?
Of course, for everybody that's just tuned in, you're just in time. I'm Dan, Senior Executive Wildlife Ambassador for Reptile Encounters. You're not on yet. There we go. Stealing the show. We'll get back to him. Half of you would have met him the other day anyway. Now, we're going to be talking about some cold-blooded freshwater creatures. Now, most of them are reptiles, the first one's not. But our freshwater environments here in Australia do have a whole amazing range of native wildlife living, thriving and surviving in their ecological niches. We don't have a lot of water in Australia. A lot of the country is very, very dry, not a lot of precipitation, not a lot of rain. But where there is, particularly on the eastern side of the country, we have some incredible cold-blooded creatures that have adapted to make the most of such a rich habitat. The first one we're going to meet today is a frog. And I'm not sure this is a frog that we've actually had in our live stream just yet. He's full of energy though. So this is going to be interesting.
While you're getting him out, we have some hellos from Samantha.
Oh,
we have, hi guys, Crikey from Carol.
Crikey, Carol.
We have Debbie and we have Jess saying hello.
G'day, Debbie and Jess. Now, this is going to be, it's a long way down if you go flying, frog. This is a green and golden bell frog. Now, you are so keen. We'll show us swimming in a little, him swimming in a little bit to give you a rough idea of how they move. But for now, I've got to keep a nice close hand on this. Green and golden bell frogs are related to our green tree frogs and even more closely related to the growling grass frog. Their scientific name is Ranoidea aurea, which aurea means gold, and that's for that fantastic golden coloration they get, along as well as that beautiful emerald green. One of the biggest differences between these guys and that very closely related growling grass frog that you guys have met a couple times is their back. Their back's really, really smooth, whereas the growling grass frogs have got bumps and warts all over them. It's where they get the nickname warty grass frog as well. Now, these guys get quite a bit bigger than this. What? You're getting ready to start screaming at me. Green and golden bell frogs get a bit bigger than this. They can get to about that long. And they are quite a large species.
Can you show us again? We missed that.
What?
How long?
How long? Oh, probably about out there. They are quite a large species for an Australian frog. Normally found around the Sydney Basin, and they come right down into East Gippsland. And in East Gippsland, these guys and the growling grass frogs actually overlap in their ranges, and where they overlap, they're so closely related that they'll actually breed with each other. And there's this big range where lots of the frogs are half growling grass frog and half green and golden bell frog. It's called an intergrade zone. Now, we'll let you go for a little bit of a swim. They are very, very aquatic. They actually come out during the day, just like our growling grass frogs. And they will bask in the sun like a blue tongue. Again, just like our growling grass frogs, they also love hunting in and around the water's edge for invertebrates, and they will even eat other frog species. They will eat smaller frogs than themselves. They'll even eat smaller members of their own species. There you go. Water's a little bit cool, so now it's going to take her a second to recover her energy. They've got really well-webbed feet there that you'll be able to see as well. Their call doesn't really sound like a bell. I'm not quite sure where that's come from. It does actually sound a lot more like a motorbike revving. And where they're found, you can hear them from quite a distance away. But unfortunately, they are a threatened species for very similar reasons to the growlers as well. These guys are are very, very vulnerable to pollution in their habitat. Being a frog, their skin is very thin and very sensitive, and any pollutants in the water can be absorbed through their skin and they'll get sick. Habitat loss is a big one as well. The degradation of the habitat, clearing all that vegetation near the water's edge, unfortunately means they lose the places they like to hide and hunt, and it makes it easier for animals like cats and foxes and even native predators like kookaburras and herons to find them and eat them. And we don't want that to happen. Now, chytrid fungus, the amphibian pandemic raging across the planet, is also a bit of a negative for these guys as well. Amphibians, just like us, are currently facing a pandemic. The difference is they've been facing theirs for a lot longer. And it's wiping out amphibians all over the globe. What we need to do is put a lot more research into figuring out the best way to get rid of chytrid fungus before the disease it causes, chytridiomycosis, wipes out far too many of our amphibian species. I think we've already lost 4 species of frog in Australia, and the main reason was chytridiomycosis. Now, because this frog's got lots of energy, we're going to quickly pop it back in its tub, because if it hops away in this enclosure, may never find him again. We don't want that to happen. So you can go in here.
While you're doing that, we've got some more highs. We've got hello from Amy. We've got hello from Rosita.
Hi, Rosita.
And Uda saying hi, and Helga's here as well.
Awesome stuff, guys. Now, the next animal, our first freshwater reptile. This is one that we met on Tuesday in our turtle talk. So guess what it is? This is my mate Rex. Here we go. And Rexy is our broad-shelled turtle here at Reptile Encounters. Now, he's not full-grown. They are Australia's largest freshwater turtle. Their shell can get up and over 50 centimetres long, about 48 centimetres long actually, and their neck can be almost another 40 centimetres on top of that. They get huge. Now, Rex here might actually be a female. It's been a little bit hard to tell up until this point, so Rexy might actually be a Roxy, but we're going to have to wait and find out. They don't really like coming out of the water. In fact, with the exception of females laying eggs, broadshells are almost never seen outside of the water. Now, they will spend most of their time right down the bottom of rivers, and we do get them in Victoria in the Murray River and just south down to the Goulburn River system, but they also go right up through the Murray-Darling Basin up to Rockhampton. They will sit partially submerged in the mud, sitting, waiting, lying in ambush. And when a fish or a yabby or a small crayfish, or even things like small water dragons, water skinks and ducklings, any of those swim past, whack, they strike out just like a snake, grab their food and wolf it down. These guys get to a size that in the northern parts of their range, they might even be able to swallow small water dragons and baby water monitors, even maybe baby crocodiles. Wouldn't surprise me. A really little baby crocodile, really big broadshell. I think the broadshell might actually come out on top. They've got a very powerful bite, and they've got really big jaw muscles on top of their head there. Now, these are one of our famous bum-breathing turtles. When they're underwater, they can suck water up their rear end into a special membranous sac called the bursae. And this takes the oxygen out of the water, puts it straight into their bloodstream. And it means that they don't have to come up to the surface very often. They can stay underwater for 9 or 10 hours straight. And over winter, they'll even bury themselves in the mud on the bottom of the river and go into turtle hibernation, which we call estivation. A very low metabolic rate, everything in their body really slows down, and they can stay hidden for months until conditions start to get better and they can come out and go looking for food and get ready to breed in the springtime. And we'll pop him in here. Let him go for a bit more of a swim. He is totally at home, far more at home in the water than he is out of it. They're kind of cumbersome when they're walking around. They've got big, powerful legs, but they are a big, heavy turtle. So they're not quite as good out on the land as something like an eastern longneck turtle, which actually don't mind getting up and walking around. They will come out of the water if their water source starts drying up or getting a bit dirty, though. They'll walk to the next water source, or that'll take them a while. They're not fast at all. Now, our next reptile. These are 2 favourites of mine. Here we go. Thank you very much, Tia. These are eastern water dragons. Now, these 2 are not quite full grown just yet. One on top up here is a female. She'll get a little bit bigger. The males get a lot bigger. The males will get a really big fat head. Now, male here, his name's Ariel, because we thought it was a girl. He's getting that nice red flush on his chest, and that'll go right up underneath his neck as well when he's a big, beautiful breeding boy. Full size, Eastern water dragons are the largest dragon species that we get in Australia. From tip to tip, a male can get to over, or just on a metre long. They are big. They are a very, very common sight along creeks and rivers and in parks in places like Brisbane and Sydney. Down here in Melbourne, we're not supposed to have them, but they are very, very popular as pets because they're big and beautiful. And what that means is that every once in a while some escape. And so there are feral populations of them along the Yarra River and in a few other little spots as well. There's even a bunch of them running around at Melbourne Zoo that are probably not supposed to be. Now, if I put you guys down here, are you stop? Oh, you'd think I was torturing. Come on, you gonna go for a dip? No. And everybody freezes. You don't want to go for a swim at all? You do want to go for a swim at all. That's okay, you're allowed to go over there. So you'll see their tail is that way. Come on. Their tail is what we call laterally compressed. It's flat on both sides. When they swim, if you saw the way that they were swimming before, they tuck their legs in a little bit. They don't really swim with their legs. They don't have webbed feet. What they have is this pond a bit too smooth for you, mate. What they have is sharp claws on their feet for climbing, but they'll tuck their legs in and they'll move their tail like that, just like a crocodile. And they are very, very fast swimmers. What they'll do in the wild is they'll sit on rocks and logs next to or just over the water, and they'll sit with the tip of their tail just in like that so they know where the water is. Any sign of danger, any birds of prey, any foxes or cats or kookaburras, and they'll instantly turn and dive straight into the water. And they can stay submerged for up to half an hour, which means they don't have to come up until they absolutely think it's safe. And even then, they may just sit in the water with just the tip of their head out, scanning around from the vegetation on the water's edge to make sure that they're not going to get themselves into any trouble by jumping out of the water. There you go. They're much keener on sitting on the side, nice and lazy, checking everything out. They are a beautiful species, and luckily a very common species. They don't mind living around people. And in national parks and stuff, especially up north in places like Brisbane, we're actually finding they're evolving. Their legs are getting a little bit longer. Their behaviours are lining them up, not with living along wild creeks and hunting for their own food, but living off human scraps. And instead of sitting on logs over water, they might be sitting on a park bench. We're actually seeing their bodies start to change a little bit to adapt to the fact that we have come in and changed their entire environment. So this is a species that's adaptable. They're not a specialist, they're a generalist. They will deal with whatever gets thrown at them, and they're doing it really, really well. So hopefully this isn't a species that will be getting added to any endangered lists anytime soon. And that's great to hear. Hopefully we'll be able to show you these guys when they get a little bit bigger, because when they're big adults, they are beautiful. Now, the next animal we're going to get out.
We have a hello from Jared while you're waiting for the next animal.
Next one today. This one is a little bit of a handful. So I'm going to quickly pop these guys away because I don't want them mixing with each other.
Sorry about the wind, if you can hear the wind, guys.
It's a little bit windy here today. Now, this one here, get on, mate. This is Turbo. Thank you, Turbo. And Turbo's not my biggest fan. Turbo is called a Merton's water monitor. Oh, he's not saying hello. He's saying, Dan, what do you think you're doing? Hello. You see him poking out that big tongue as well. Like all goanna species, like all monitors, he's got a deep forked tongue just like a snake. And he's poking that out, smelling, but he's also trying to puff out his throat and show me how big and strong he is. Now, he is about full size. Normally, these goannas get to about a metre. They're not one of the bigger goannas that we get in Australia, but they have been recorded getting even larger than that. They live along water courses right across the top end, from the Kimberleys right across to northern Queensland. And they will spend their days sunning themselves on rocks and logs around the water, very much like our water dragons. But unlike our water dragons, who like to eat bugs and maybe aquatic invertebrates and lots of vegetation and fruits and stuff, these guys are carnivores. They have got big, sharp, serrated teeth like a shark. They bite you, it'll hit the bone before you feel it go in. It's not a fun animal to get a kiss from. He's got those big, sharp claws that he's showing off there. He'll use those for climbing. They are great climbers. He'll use it to dig up things on the sides of rivers. They are really, really good at digging up eggs of things like freshwater turtles, and they might even raid crocodile nests in certain parts of their range, but that is a very, very risky endeavour. And this big, powerful tail. Just like the water dragon, again, you'll see it's compressed on the sides. It's flat. These guys swim like crocodiles. They'll tuck in their leg and move their body like that. They are incredibly fast swimmers. And they will even hunt their food underwater. Fish, things like yabbies and crayfish will be taken to. They'll be brought up onto the surface, or up onto land, bashed around until their prey's subdued. And then if it's too big, I actually saw a video of this the other day, they'll push it up against a tree root with their mouth open and push it all the way down their throat. And they start from the tail so the claws can fold in as they go down the throat. The first thing you want to be taking on mouth first is not the big sharp claws of a freshwater crayfish. Now I'm going to see if he's going to go for a bit of a dip for us. He, again, like I said, he's not my biggest fan. Are you going to come in for a bit of a... The other thing he might do is whip me with his tail. No, we don't really want that to happen on. Do you want to come for a bit of an experience? And he's off. Not keen at all. Where are you going? What's your
Not the front.
Wasn't keen on that at all. Unfortunately, he's a bit of a wild one, this one. Come on. None of that. What if we let you just sit here a bit and I'll keep a hand on you? Is that a little bit safer? There you go. You like that a lot better. He likes having his feet on the ground a little bit, I think. And that's right. He's covered in these amazing little yellow dots as well. They've got really, really intricate little patterns. From a distance, they just look a greyish brown, almost olive colour. They don't really look as brightly patterned as things like yellow spotted monitors or lace monitors. But when you get a close look at them, their patterns are actually really, really intricate and amazing. Now, he's going to keep twisting and slapping with his tail and things like that. And that's all right. We'll pop him back and we'll meet one more freshwater reptile, I think. Get him back in.
We got some comments saying he's a lovely baby dinosaur.
Oh, he's definitely a little dinosaur, isn't he?
Sure is. I think
Mud all over me.
Corey had a question about the water dragons.
Yeah.
What will they look like when they're older?
Exactly the same as that, but bigger.
And do you think that they'll change much with the evolution that you were talking about?
Well, it's hard to say. Until they are perfectly adapted to the lifestyle that they're trying to lead, they will keep changing. There's always features and always little bits and pieces that pop up in different animals that will make them better or worse at surviving in the habitat or the environment or the lifestyle that they want to lead. So, over time, it's always going to select for that better quality, those better quality features, whether it's longer claws, longer legs, preferring green foods over meat, whatever it happens to be in their environment, that's what's going to help them. And so these animals, they're not going to stop changing. It might slow down a little bit, but things are always changing a little bit. Now, this last animal today, this is one who's slowly becoming a more familiar sight at Reptile Encounters. Here we go. Thank you, Tia. This is Bobby. And Bobby is a young freshwater croc. Now, he's only a few years old. He's not quite as big as our bigger freshwater crocs, Johnny and Brock. And he's a beautiful little boy. They've got quite different patterns to the saltwater crocodiles, especially when they're dried out. They're a much lighter brown colour most of the time, not some of those dark olives and things that the salties tend to be. And the big defining features, the head and the teeth. If you have a look, his head is really, really long and narrow in that triangular shape. Still a big triangle, so he's still a crocodile, but it's really long and narrow compared to the salties, and his teeth are really long and narrow as well. Now, I'm not going to shove my finger in there and find out what it feels like. He wouldn't be able to do too much damage at this size, but it's still going to hurt me a lot, and I'm not really interested in that. Those longer, skinnier teeth aren't for grabbing really massive, powerful prey like a saltwater's big, thick teeth. Salties will have big, thick teeth like your thumb for crunching in on water buffalo and big turtles and people. Freshwater crocs love eating fish, and because they love eating fish, those long skinny teeth give them a good grip. Have you ever tried to hold a fish? They're slimy and horrific to try and hold onto, and they slip straight out of your hands. Those long thin teeth give them a much better grip on their food, and that's really helpful to make sure they can reposition it and send it straight down their gulping mouth, down that throat. Now, you can't really see down his throat at the moment, and that's because crocodiles have got an extra palate, and they can seal off that hole so they don't swallow heaps and heaps and heaps of water while they're trying to eat their food. Now, freshwater crocs aren't found as far downstream as saltwater crocs, and that's because of the saltwater crocs. These guys will be found a bit further inland as the rivers start to get a bit narrower, and that's because salties eat freshies. A full-grown freshwater croc is going to get to 3 and a bit metres, about 10 foot. A full-grown saltwater croc could get to 7 metres. A full-grown salty could definitely kill and eat a full-grown freshie. They don't want to really be living in the same areas. The good thing is, though, is freshies don't really tend to mind us. We are a little bit annoying when we're swimming in their billabongs and stuff, but unless you stand on one or really try and annoy one, they're not really going to come out of nowhere and try and attack you. They want to be left alone. They don't see us as a food source. They just see us as another big animal that happens to be somewhere near them. And so as long as we leave them alone, you can swim in billabongs where there's freshwater crocodiles, as long as there's no saltwater crocodiles there as well. Now, Bobby's just starting to come out and do shows and things, so he's still getting used to being handled, and so he is a little bit still and maybe a little bit nervous at the moment. He's not opening his eyes for us. I don't know whether he's trying to convince me he's asleep or whether he's trying to protect his eyes because he thinks I'm a big predator. But I'm not a big predator. I think he's amazing. I'm looking down the throat and I'm thinking, I'm not going to get much closer than this. So this was our last freshwater, cold-blooded, amazing creature today. If you guys have got any questions, now's the time to write them in.
Yes, let's see if we have any questions. I think Corey had a really good question about the water dragons.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have anything. Oh, we have a hi from Jared. He's one of our sponsors for one of our animals, which is awesome.
Jared. Thanks so much for joining in and sponsoring an animal. Awesome. Let's go. If you've got any questions, write them in and I'll try and answer them all in the comments section a little later once all these animals have gone back to sleep. My name's Dan from Reptile Encounters. I hope you had lots of fun in our live streams today. We'll be back for more tomorrow. Fun Friday. There's going to be some very interesting ones, especially in the afternoon. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you've subscribed to our YouTube channel. Make sure you've got notifications on for our Facebook live streams. Check out our website and our live streams there, as well as our animal sponsorship and all of our shows and the other fun stuff you can find there. I'll see you next time.